Dr. Adrian Cole was adored by everyone in Maplewood. To the townspeople, he was the embodiment of compassion. His calm smile seemed to soothe even the most troubled souls. He treated the poor without charge, volunteered tirelessly at the local orphanage, and often stayed late at the clinic, ensuring no patient went unattended. Parents trusted him with their children. The elderly relied on him for comfort and care. On the surface, Dr. Cole was a pillar of the community, a figure so gentle and reassuring that no one imagined a hint of darkness lurking beneath his pristine exterior. But darkness has a way of revealing itself, even in the brightest of places. It started quietly, almost imperceptibly. A homeless man named Simon, known to sit near the corner bakery, had gone missing. He had visited Dr. Cole's clinic one rainy afternoon, seeking treatment for a persistent cough. The next morning, he was gone. People assumed he had wandered off or moved to a neighboring town. It seemed plausible. Simon had no family, no roots. But Lena Hayes, a young journalist with a reputation for noticing what others overlooked, wasn't convinced. Lena had been following a string of disappearances in Maplewood. Subtle at first, but increasingly frequent. Every person missing had seen Dr. Cole in the days before vanishing. At first, she chalked it up to coincidence. But the pattern gnawed at her. Beneath the town's adoration for the doctor, a chilling possibility began to take shape in her mind. Late one evening, driven by curiosity and a growing sense of dread, Lena decided to investigate. She parked a block away from the clinic and crept along the shadowed sidewalks, her flashlight cutting through the thick fog. The clinic's windows glimmered faintly under the moonlight. She hesitated for a moment, inhaling deeply, steeling herself. Inside, the air was a mixture of antiseptic and something far more sinister, a metallic tang that made her stomach twist. She moved cautiously, her footsteps muffled on the polished floors. From somewhere deep below, a low hum pulsed, almost rhythmic. Lena followed the sound of the basement door, her fingers brushing over the cold, heavy locks. Her heart raced, and then she heard the voice. Calm, gentle. Curiosity can be dangerous, Miss Hayes. She spun around. Dr. Adrian Cole stood in the doorway, smiling as if she had just walked into a casual conversation rather than trespassing. There was no anger in his eyes, only that same unnerving calm that had won over so many in Maplewood. Lena swallowed hard, unable to respond, her mind racing for a plausible excuse. The next morning, the town woke to more news of a disappearance. Lena's car had been found abandoned by the river, engine still running, but there was no sign of her. Speculation ran wild. People whispered theories of abduction, of foul play, but no one suspected the kindly doctor. Only Dr. Cole appeared calm, almost relieved, as though the missing journalist's fate were a puzzle piece finally fitting into place. Weeks passed. Maplewood continued its life as usual, unaware of the darkness lurking under its gentle streets. That's when the police received an anonymous tip. A resident had reported screams coming from Dr. Cole's clinic in the dead of night. Detectives arrived immediately, scouring the building. They found a pristine operating room, medical journals neatly stacked on shelves, and the faint scent of antiseptic lingering in the air. Nothing appeared out of place. Yet beneath the floorboards in a secret, hidden laboratory, Dr. Cole's work continued unabated. His journals chronicled his chilling obsession, the creation of the perfect immune system, a goal he pursued through horrifying experiments on humans. His latest subject was a young boy named Ethan, brought to the clinic after a car crash. Dr. Cole's notes were clinical, methodical, and utterly terrifying. The boy's resilience and youth, he wrote, made him ideal material. Ethan awoke one night to the harsh glare of surgical lights. He was strapped to a cold metal table, metal tools glinting under the bright illumination. Dr. Cole hummed softly, his movements precise, almost tender, as he prepared another injection. Panic surged through the boy. Every instinct screamed for him to run, but his limbs were restrained. He struggled against the straps, hearing the doctor's calm voice whisper in the sterile air. Then, without warning, the lights flickered and went out. Darkness enveloped the basement. Heart pounding, Ethan seized the opportunity. He broke free, tumbling to the floor, cutting his palms and feet on the jagged edges of metal. The storm outside pounded on the windows as he ran blindly, barefoot, bleeding through the woods and along muddy roads. Hours later, he collapsed at a gas station miles from Maplewood, whispering to a passerby, his voice trembling. The doctor, he was smiling while he cut me. The following day, detectives returned to the clinic. What they uncovered beneath the floorboards was beyond comprehension. Dozens of preserved organs lined shelves, grotesque and meticulously labeled. Bodies stitched and submerged in jars filled the hidden laboratory, silent witnesses to Dr. Cole's experiments. The town had been feeding the hands of a monster, a man cloaked in the guise of a healer. By the time Maplewood processed the horror, Dr. Cole had vanished. Hours later, the clinic burned to ground. Some whispered that he had started the fire himself, a final act to erase evidence, a calculated exit from a world that had adored him without suspicion. Months passed. The town slowly healed, scarred but alive. Yet Dr. Cole was never truly gone. Sightings began to surface in nearby towns. A polite man carrying a doctor's bag, offering free medical care to strangers. Always smiling, always calm, always too kind. Those who looked closely noticed the faintest trace of blood on his gloves. And in a small, quiet town not far from Maplewood, a new sign was hung outside a clinic. Dr. Adrian Cole, Family Medicine, caring for you always. Behind the smiling eyes and comforting words lay a truth no one wanted to face. Some darkness cannot be confined, and some smiles never fade.